Good morning and welcome to the show. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning right here. My name is Cynthia Agbo. So glad to have you join us on this edition of Rapid Dawn. I'm definitely not alone. Have a Google. How are you doing this morning?
I'm very well. It's the last day in July. I mean,
Yeah.
that is something. Seven months now in 2024.
We
I don't
don't
know if
try.
I should say if it's been exciting or it's been a lot.
I
I
have to
was certainly
it's
excited to be
well.
here this morning.
You know when they sing, it is well, it is well. With my soul, it is well.
Oh my God.
So it has really been enjoyable being waking up to meet you guys every morning, and so yes, I'm sure that you also have had a great time in this past 7 months. I mean, a 7 month relationship has done pretty well. A 7 month old baby has done pretty well.
Okay.
So I mean, just
We're
look at it
hoping
from there.
there's some sort of proposal, engagement, and
Ha.
possible
It depends.
sealing it forever, forever and ever.
Well,
You and us.
if
I mean, us now on the show, myself, you, and the audience, the viewer.
forever how?
Forever together.
Forever what?
Together forever.
You remember that video of Angela and Michael? When they're like, Obey what? Obey who? So, I just remember that. All right. So normally we start with health and wellness this morning. And for this morning, we're going to be checking up on triggers of your headache. You definitely want to check that out.
Headaches. We all get them, some worse than others, but did you know there are 10 things that you encounter in your everyday life that could be causing your headaches? I'm talking about that today. Let's get started. Your cell phone. We spend a tremendous amount of time looking at YouTube videos, TikToks, meme reviews, but the reality is when we're constantly straining our eyes for long periods of time, it can actually lead to a headache developing. Now, I like to follow the 20-20-20 rule, where you pick a point 20 feet away every 20 minutes and you stare at that point for 20 seconds. It allows your eyes a moment to reset, to recalibrate, and decrease the strain that's being put on them, therefore reducing the likelihood that you'll develop a headache. Something I'm also seeing is that folks tend to keep their cell phones way too close to their eyes. In fact, there was some research done on this by the SUNY College of Optometry, where they looked at the distance people looked at printed materials versus cell phones. Printed materials, 16 inches away from the face. Pretty good distance. Cell phones, 12 to 14 inches, sometimes up to 7 inches only away from the face. What happens? That puts a tremendous strain on the eye, forces it to accommodate, and as a result, that can lead to headaches. Folks, keep the cell phone a little further away and watch that screen time. Caffeine. Specifically, the lack of caffeine. I'm talking about caffeine withdrawal. It's likely that if you've been taking caffeine consistently for a long period of time and abruptly discontinue it, you can develop withdrawal, leading to headaches, fogginess, irritability, and other symptoms. Now, my recommendation to my patients who want to stop cold turkey is that they should be prepared to experience symptoms of caffeine withdrawal. And if they don't want to, they can slowly taper themselves off, either decreasing the amounts they drink each day, or perhaps mixing their cup of joe with a cup of decaf. The reason these headaches even happen is because when you ingest caffeine, it actually narrows your blood vessels within your brain, and without the caffeine, these blood vessels widen, leading to these headaches and withdrawal symptoms. Pillows, specifically the wrong pillows. Look, the average human spends 1/3 of their lifetime asleep. Well, according to my recent YouTube poll that you guys answered, you're not even doing that, which, by the way, is a big problem. Anyway, the comfort of your sleep is intimately tied to how you feel the next morning when it comes to neck pain and headaches. Now, when I talk about pillows, I'm specifically talking about supportive pillows based on the type of sleeper that you are. For example, if you sleep on your back, you don't need a very supportive pillow because you want your spine to be in a neutral position. But if you're a side sleeper, you need that extra layer of support to help lift up your head and keep your spine in the neutral position, decreasing the likelihood that you would get neck pain or tension headaches. This also holds true for mattresses. Pick a mattress too soft, you'll sink in and lose that spinal alignment. Pick a mattress too firm, you'll wake up with shoulder pain and neck pains. Make sure you test drive the mattress you're going to be spending 1/3 of your life in. Cheese. 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 Not this cheese, this cheese. and wine, two foods that are actually consumed commonly together but can be triggering for migraine-susceptible individuals. Why does this happen? Because there's a substance known as tyramine that's found in aged foods, blue cheese, Parmesan, Swiss cheese, wine, aged meats, etc., that can actually cause a preliminary vasoconstriction in the blood vessels in the brain, meaning they shrink, which wouldn't cause a headache, but then immediately after cause a rebound vasodilation where these same blood vessels start swelling in the brain. As a result, you trigger a migraine. Ways to prevent this? Avoid tyramine-containing products, or at least plan ahead. I love cheese. Can't stop cheese though. Cheese. Teeth. I'm talking specifically about teeth grinding. That's right, bruxism is a legitimate medical condition where you clench and grind your teeth. If you do this at night, it could be a sleep movement disorder leading to problems with the TMJ area. The TMJ is a hinge joint that actually moves forward and backward, but also side to side. It allows you to laugh, speak, chew. But if there's a problem there, it can be quite painful, known as a temporomandibular disorder. And if you have pain there, it can radiate to the head or even feel like a headache on its own. Now, if you have mild bruxism, that may not be a problem, but the idea is to get ahead of it before it becomes a problem. So see your dentist, discuss whether or not you're clenching your teeth at night, and perhaps get yourself a protective tray in order to decrease the damage to the TMJ area. Painkillers. That's right, the medications that are actually supposed to be taken to get rid of a headache can actually cause a headache. When does this happen? When you overuse the medication. These medications are actually indicated to be taken sporadically, every now and then for a headache. So if you're taking them every single day of the week, first of all, that's a problem. You should go see your doctor. It can lead to a condition known as rebound headaches or medication overuse headaches. These are legit medical diagnoses, with the treatment being stopping the painkiller. How ironic is that? Stopping the painkiller can actually stop the pain. It's almost kind of backwards. The biggest culprits here, acetaminophen, commonly known as Tylenol, or some of the prescription medications like opiates. So you gotta be really careful when you're using these and talk to your doctor if the headaches aren't stopping. Weather. It's truly a big trigger for migraine sufferers, and we're talking about drops in barometric pressures, high temperatures, low temperatures, high humidity, dryness. All of these things can mean something for different people and trigger headaches. Now, an interesting theory that exists that actually gets me excited is that perhaps individuals who've inherited the sensitivity to weather, that they get a headache before a storm perhaps, can actually have inherited for a very good reason. Our ancestors, the ones who didn't hide before the storm because they had a headache, perhaps didn't survive. And maybe you're here right now because your ancestors actually got a headache and hid from the storm. Kind of cool to think about if true. Headbands, caps, hats, headphones, goggles, ponytails. I'm talking about compression, specifically compression headaches. That's right, if you wear something extremely tight across your forehead, across your scalp, you're actually putting pressure on the nerves underneath the skin, irritating those nerves, and they actually receive signals from the brain going to the face, leading to a potential headache if they are irritated. The most common culprits here are the trigeminal and occipital nerves that actually feed innervation, meaning sensation, to your face and back of your head. So go ahead, take off that hat, take off those headphones, goggles, and let that hair down. Prescription glasses. Now these could be the wrong prescription, or it could simply be your eyes adjusting to the new prescription. If you wear bifocals or trifocals, you actually have to look at a specific angle of the lens in order for your eye to get comfortable. And there's an adjustment period there, during which time you can get a headache. If you're getting the wrong prescription completely, that's gonna cause a strain on your eye muscles, which there are 6 of. If those hurt, your head can hurt. You could also have an issue with the frames of the glasses where they put too much pressure on your nose, the backs of your ears, or even on your temples, leading to other headaches as well. Perfumes. Well, I'm kind of being unfair to perfumes here because it's really all extreme scents, powerful scents, if you will. They can be a known trigger for migraines. In fact, a 2011 survey found that perfumes and strong scents were at the top of the list for migraine triggers. We don't even have a clear reason as to why this happens, but it looks like individuals who smell a strong scent have a dilation of the arteries inside their brain where they actually swell and trigger the nervous system to experience that level of pain. It's the chemical composition of the scent that leads the body to react this way. How do you know if you're one of these individuals triggering your migraines by scent? Keep a migraine journal. Every time you have a migraine, see what's going on in your life and see if you can find a connection. Click here for a video on everything you need to know about green tea, its health benefits, how to make
All right, welcome back. It's still Rapid On, and of course, we just talked about triggers for your headache, of your headache. I think I agree with that strong. Some scent you perceive, and instantly it just gives you migraine. I think that happens to me sometimes.
I mean, there are a couple of behavioral changes you might need to make if you don't want to keep having some kind of headaches. You know, started with too much use of your phone can actually cause you headaches.
That's you there, not.
I don't understand.
Not
How
me.
is it me?
Ugo can be on his phone if they allow Ugo out of 24 hours. Ugo can be on his phone for 20 hours if they allow him.
Okay, you cannot do that.
No. Ugo's hours is between sleep and phone.
Because
Yes.
when business transactions are going on, you cannot say, oh, they are spending too much. But what I'm talking about is people who, for no reason, for no justifiable reason.
Ugo, give me the reason why you're on your phone.
I'm making money.
Hours you are with on your phone.
I'm printing dollars.
I
there.
thought this was where you make money.
I'm printing
On the
dollars.
morning
You've
show.
not heard about diversification, multiple streams of income. Such concepts are not, I don't understand.
They are alien to me.
No. You're very much conversant with them. You know. So it's good that we brought you those three guys, you know, so you could take note and avoid them. And did you know that there's a kind of hat or cap or headband or even headset you will wear?
Yeah.
You get instant headache.
Yeah, even your wig band. There's some. If you want to buy a wig, as a lady, specifically for lady, because ladies wear wig, so you have to look at the band. So there's a kind of band you put on. It presses into your head, and by the time you're done with the day and you take it off, you're like, oh my God, I just survived. You know, so you just have to make sure that your band is well fitted to your head and not strangling your head or something. So it's very important. You know, you end up having headache before you know it, and you start wondering where is it coming from. All right, that is some of the things you need to know about your health and headache this beautiful morning. I'm sure that it has helped you. But like we always say, if symptoms persist, don't forget or hesitate to go see your doctor. It's very, very important that you get to see a doctor, a certified doctor in things like this. All right, so we now move on to some of the stories that we have for you today. We have a couple of stories on, you know, revolution, talking about artificial intelligence right now. We have stories on the NIN, we have stories on INEC, we have stories. So which are we starting with? Many more.
Well, if you're one of those whose lines have been reactivated, yeah, well, you might want to look at, you know, that whole drama that played out between network users, or what you might call consumers, and then the network providers, the NCC, and another group that is also part of this conversation are the miscreants that took it upon themselves to destroy public property, or this time around company property, you know, leading to the MTN having to close down their offices, you know, nationwide. And it's really sad. I think now you have to understand why we have a group of people who are against the planned demonstrations or the planned protest, because you cannot really predict or anticipate or decide exactly how people are going to react and how they are going to behave in certain conditions.
That's true.
You know, from we no go agree, give us this one, give it. Before you know it, people are pushing down gates, pushing down walls, throwing stones, and before you could say Jack Robinson, all hell is let loose.
We will take you to Umuahia, where Nigerians reacted, you know, to their phone lines being restored following the directive of the NCC. We do have our correspondent that brought in this story, Oluwapelumi King, and he reports from Umuahia on the mixed emotions and the long queues that was experienced. We'll get you that right now.
Subscribers of MTN, a major telecommunications company, have expressed frustration over the unjust barring of the lines ahead of the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) deadline on July 31st. Speaking to Rapid TV, affected subscribers reported being unable to access essential communication services, which has significantly impacted their daily lives and businesses.
Everyone knows that it's quite frustrating. Like, you can't make calls, you can't receive calls, you can't browse, you can't access the internet. It's really frustrating. I don't know why MTN chose this particular period, to carry out this, to activate this, their line barring or whatever. I don't know why, but it's frustrating. And look at this, this is the only office they have. I think this is their headquarters in Umuahia or thereabouts. People are here, people have been here since 6 a.m. or even 5 a.m. Some persons up till now are still here. And they did for about a few hours and just told them no network. Some persons went home, some persons remained. So they can't just contain the crowd. We've had some persons linking the barring of the line at this period to the protest. For instance, the senior advocate of Nigeria, Adeborowa, he said something about, advising NCC to come to the aid of subscribers. That this is not the right time to do that. It's looking sinister. It's like there's some ulterior motive to this.
It's very, very unfortunate that the MTN people block some of their line, and old people, so they block their line, and so it's very, very apologetic. If you go to the bank, you can't withdraw money, you can't do anything. So I didn't know, because if you come here around 2 o'clock, you see how people gathered here by 2 o'clock because of the line. So the MTN people are supposed to know how people is feeling.
Tech expert and co-manager at Burns Institute, Pastor Arinze Eri, noted that the tech industry has also felt the effect of the barring. He urged MTN to resolve the issue swiftly.
Okay, as a tech person, I will only speak from the tech perspective. I won't speak for MTN, and I won't speak for NCC. I will speak first as a user and then a tech person. Most of the information I have is what my professional suggestions or assumptions will be is that perhaps some numbers, some updates, NIN updates were incomplete. I mean, when you have your NIN with incomplete details or what I will call mismatched details with your SIM details, there will be a problem. So on Sunday, when this went the way it went, some of my tech staffs, support staffs, were unreachable. Even as we speak, a lot of customers, a lot of clients cannot reach them to get that immediate help. And so this in turn upturns a lot of things for us within our own space. So imagine where these individuals who haven't got the knowledge of what is going on, it will completely unsettle them. Businesses will lose money. A whole lot of people, especially the youth, depend on their phone and data. As you can do, I will be very forthright, there is no job in this country. Thousands, if not millions of people make their living from the internet. So imagine when you are locked out without any information, without even any reason, without even knowing when you will come back online. It is depressing. And then Nigerian case is even so very, 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 very dicey. You hear about protests. The youth, Nigerians, they say no to bad governance and all of that. They'll make bad governance go away, and all of the tagline. Now, it is also feared in some quarters that this may also be the reason why the SIM cards were all bad. To also stop. So it is not the right time for government to take action now. The government, MTN inclusive, should be sensitive. Why I say MTN inclusive? MTN works under a Nigerian Communication Commission, which by extension is Nigerian government. So the pressure and all of that may have been trickling down in that direction. Perhaps, I'm not saying, I wouldn't know. But the timing is all wrong.
Youth advocate Kelechi Imo criticized MTN for acting before the NCC deadline, suggesting that there could be a political undertone behind the action.
To be honest and to be fair to MTN, I know that they've been preaching about linking your NIN to your SIM card since I think as far back as 2020, and hearing that they've stopped, they've blocked people's line, and they just started blocking people's line, came to me as a surprise, because I'm also aware that the deadline was given as for 31st of this month, I believe. So for them blocking the line now, it signals to me that it's a breach of contract on the part of MTN, and it's also signs of insincerity on their own part. But also now, where I know that there's a lot of problem and tension in the country, you can put one or two together to actually tell where this thing is going. Yeah.
It was reported that the disconnection process, which began in February, was rolled out in 3 phases. The first occurred on February 28, followed by the second phase on March 29. The Nigerian Communication Commission has directed telecommunication companies to extend the disconnection of telephone lines not linked to national identification number from April 15 to July 31st. During the initial deadline of February 28, the industry regulator said about 40 million lines not linked to NINs were bad. As the NCC calls for the reactivation of bad lines and complaints continues to rise, pressure mounts on the company to address the situation transparently and restore services promptly. Oluwapelimi King Adeniyi reporting for Rapid Television.
That was an extensive look right there into the happenings at Umuahia. I think aside from that, maybe subsequently, maybe the telecommunications agents should try to say they can have multiple offices in Umuahia, because some of the concerns that people have to wait in one particular office for a very long time. Well, I mean, going forward, they should try to have more branches.
Also ask how large is the city? They probably must have done the assessment.
I mean, look at that.
And then, you know, why is this? Why are other network providers not having this issue? Why is it only?
Because we are obedient people. We know what to do, so we don't have to wait our life to be bad before we do the right thing. Maybe you guys have to learn to do the right thing. At this point, we'll go on a short musical break right now. We will take a song by Onyeka Onwenu and King Sunny Ade. Be right back.
I love you. I want to marry you. I want you.
I want you too. But I had promised not to until after our marriage. I know you wait because you love me.
I love you.
I love you.
I'll wait.
If you love me, you will wait for me. My dear friend, let me there for your front. Take your time, make you no spoil them. If you make children, are you ready to care? If you love life, you will plan and wait. If you love me, you will wait for me. Having babies, no be joke. You go feed them, you go give them clothes, give them love too. If you never ready to carry the load, why put down for another person's head? Then take children, they say, insurance for old age. Papa said make we marry, Mama said make we born. Then take children there, but no food to eat, oh my friend. This kind life, not so wahala. If you love me, you will wait for me. Happy birthday. love me, you go plan with me. If you love me, you go wait for me. Wait for me, baby, plan with me. And you run wait for me, baby, plan with me. Don't let me grow. Wait for me, baby, plan with me. Wait for me, baby, plan with me. Baby, plan with me. Plan with me. Wait for me, baby, plan with me. Let you run me. Wait for me, baby, plan with me. Yeah, then sun, plan don't forget family planning. Like they make life easy. When you just plan everything well, you can plan yourself. Enjoy life.
And welcome back. The beautiful song by Oyeka Weno and King Sunny Ade. Let's now move on to the next story in Lagos, where we hear that AI revolution, Nigeria poised for significant leap by 2030. This is what experts are saying. So in an event that happened in Lagos, where our reporter Erica John was there, talking about artificial intelligence transformed industries worldwide, and Nigeria is poised to undergo a profound technological revolution. Let's have that.
It's the Global Tech Africa Conference, and gathered here are leaders, innovators, and policymakers to discuss Africa's technological future. Discussions on AI and 3D computing's transformative potential was explored, with predictions of significant advancements by 2030 in key sectors.
In just 5.5 years, it'll be 2030, by which time there'll be a lot more AI and 3D computing that will be driving a whole lot of technology. And I think that certainly in terms of Nigeria and Nigeria's issues, problems, difficulties, economic challenges, it's going to be an important way to use these technologies that will help solve and help relieve many of the problems of Nigeria's economy.
Ibukoluwa Owa of the Nigerian Data Protection Commission outlined efforts to ensure data privacy and compliance under the Nigerian Data Protection Act 2023, emphasizing principles like data minimization and purpose limitation.
You're also expected to make sure that whenever you're processing data, you have a lawful basis, which means a legal right to process this data. The first one being consent. You must have the data subject's consent. Other ones being legitimate interest, public interest, vital interest, contracts, and legal obligations. In relation to sensitive data, which is also regarded as healthcare data, it's important to ensure that you have the consent of data subjects and that you have other means of legal rights to process this data.
The CEO of Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Nigeria, Dr. Olushola Ayola, emphasized the need to bridge the educational gap in robotics and AI through mentorship and practical training.
And in the area of robotics, there is a large gap, between what happens at the STEM level in secondary and primary schools versus what they get in the universities. You have people going for mechatronics, hoping that they will continue a lot of projects and practicals, but they get there, they don't get as much as what they thought they were going to get. So that's where people like us come in. There are mentors all over the country who are assisting young Nigerians to get that access into robotics. And that's why GTA, Global Tech Africa Conference, is useful for them, because it means that they can at least get exposed to connections and the opportunities around.
Participants also shared their insights on the conference.
I recently came out of the health data system panel session, and I find it intriguing because we're talking about how we can prioritize health data, protect it, and also utilize it. What was particularly striking was the fact that these conversations are actually ongoing. I work in the health data system, or I work as a data protection analyst, so I also champion protecting personal data. So seeing the conversation ongoing, and afterwards we had a representative from the NDPC come up to speak, was really intriguing to see that Nigeria is paying attention to these kind of topics and doing something about it.
The conference showcased Africa's potential to harness technology for economic growth, improved healthcare, and enhanced education. It also highlighted the importance of collaboration to build a robust tech ecosystem, setting the stage for a bright and technologically advanced future for the continent. My name is Erica John, reporting for Rapid TV.
All right, that was a good one there. We do look forward to the future of AI in our beloved country, Nigeria. And okay, we do have a lot of things for you this morning. Don't forget that by 8 o'clock, the time for sports. By 8:30, hopefully, we have Eastern Circle. And about 9 o'clock, we're having a great conversation. This conversation today is one you do not want to miss for anything, because we're looking at culture of the people. So you definitely don't want to miss that aspect of the conversation. But at this time, we just want to take a small break and break the news. I always don't like to do this. Maybe Ugo will have to do it. I always don't like to share bad stories. But I think Ugo has more mind than myself.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, so this morning / last night this morning, Nigerians woke up to the sad news of the passing of our beloved, beautiful singer, actress, politician, activist. What we're talking about, the one, the only Stallion Onyeka Onwenu. It was a very sad one, really sad one to hear this kind of story. Age 72 years old. Now the story has it that she was very okay, and she attended the birthday party of Stella Okoli, where she had a small performance right there. And just after the performance, when she went, according to the report, she went back to her seat, and that was when she collapsed. And she was rushed to the hospital right there in Lagos, but unfortunately, she didn't make it. Our heart goes out to the family. Just a little bit about the late Onyeka Onwenu. Born 31 January 1952, a singer, songwriter, actress, human rights and social activist. She's also a journalist, a politician, and she was a former X Factor series judge. She was dubbed the name Elegant Stallion by the Nigerian press. She was a former chairperson of the Imo State Council for Arts and Culture. And in 2013, she was appointed the Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer of the National Center for Women Development. There are a whole lot of things to the career of the late Stella Onyeka Onwenu, in terms of broadcasting, in terms of music, in terms of acting career. And when it comes to talk about acting, let's play a short clip of Rising Moon in 2005. We'll be right back.
Your side. Why do you betray me? Why do you turn my only child against me?
My love, you know I could never do a thing like that. How can I betray myself? You and Ifema are life to me. All I've tried to do is to do the best for our son.
And since when do you determine what is best for our son? Since when have you become the head of my family?
My heart, I could never put myself in a position to take decisions for the family when the head of the family, when you are there. My heart, let me tell you something. when we were searching for a child, I made a vow to God Almighty that if He should give us a child, that I would dedicate that child to His service.
So that is what all this is about. Now, you go and tell the white man that in this land, the child belongs to the father, and only he decides his fate. And you listen to me, Uloma. As from today, I decree that you shall never go to the white man's shrine again. And if you do, I will kill you. I will. And you go and prepare Ifenna, for tomorrow he goes to Agwoturumbe's shrine. He shall learn our ways.
That was a short clip there. Now, Owenu's first movie role was as Joker, a childless woman who adopts an abandoned baby. And she has since featured in numerous Nollywood movies. And in 2006, she won the African Movie Academy Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role for her performance in the movie Widow's Court. She was also nominated that same year for African Movie Academy Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role and the movie Rising Moon. And in 2014, she was in the movie Half of a Yellow Sun with Chinwete Ejiofor and Thandiwe Newton, and in Lionheart, that was in 2018. This is Rising Moon, Onyeka Onwenu, and remember who that face looks like? Our very own.
Someone I see every day.
Our very own, yes. That is
Arthur Brooks.
Arthur Brooks, yes. I mean, our heart goes out to the family of late Onyeka Onwenu. I mean, it's 72 years.
Yeah, you might.
We can't say gone too soon, but at the same time, we do feel the loss.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's made her mark across several spheres, from family to her career as a broadcaster, a musician. I mean, you'd enjoy Onyeka Onwenu when she's a judge in a music competition, because she doesn't just give reviews like a regular person, because she does music, so she goes deep into the details of the contestants' performances, gives you a more detailed analysis.
Absolutely.
And when she gives her judgment, you can understand why, she gave that judgment.
That judgment.
And then when you see her in movies, it's so soothing to see. I think the one that I cannot forget was her role in Lionheart as the wife of Pete Edochie, who was the father of Genevieve Nnaji in that movie. It was really beautiful. And then when you talk about national icons, if we're celebrating independence, whatever it is, if there's one artist you need to come perform, especially that song, One Love, Keep Us Together, you would always love to listen to Onyeka Onwenu. So it's really sad. Like you said, we cannot say gone too soon, but we wish she would have stayed a bit longer with us. Yeah. I mean, whenever we get to hear stories of people's passing, I mean, just between last week and this week, I think we've had several stories of people passing. It just reminds you of what their life is all about. When you are born, you just have to keep in mind that there will be a going day. But pending when that going day comes, it is important for you to
enjoy life. It is important for you to do the right things. It is important for you to make your mark. It is important for you to take care of yourself and try to find your purpose and know what you were actually sent on this earth to do. I do believe that if I'm to speak in few words, I would just say that she lived her life, she made her mark, and now she's gone and we are talking about her. What about you? When you leave, what would people say? Would you make your mark, or you're just going to be among those who just passed through? Think about that. Anyway, let's now move on to other things this morning. We do have a story here on I think we will not try to go into the economic protests issues right now, because these are things that I don't want to think about it. First it's coming, I don't think about it. But let's go to INEC, where INEC has warned CSOs adhere to code of conduct or face revocation. And that is the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has issued a stern warning to civil society organizations to adhere to its code of conduct during the upcoming Edo and Ondo State governorship elections. Our correspondent Irene did put out this report. Let's check it out.
During the third quarterly consultative meeting with CSOs at INEC's headquarters in Abuja, Professor Yakubu emphasized the critical role of CSOs in monitoring the elections. He provided updates on preparations for the Edo State governorship election, scheduled for September 21st, 2024, despite challenges posed by severe flooding at INEC's Benin City headquarters.
The by-elections that occurred since our last meeting. It is now 52 days to the Edo State governorship election, coming up on Saturday, 21st September 2024. Our preparations are going on in earnest. I'm glad to report that we have recovered from the torrential rainfall that resulted in severe flooding of our state headquarters in Benin City 2 months ago. The damage to the physical infrastructure, as well as movable and immovable facilities, are either being fixed, have been fixed, or are being replaced, or they have already been replaced. We have delivered additional bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS machines, to Edo State for the training of election duty personnel, as well as contingency for election day support.
INEC is finalizing the voter register following the continuous voter registration and data cleanup processes. New voter distribution figures will be published soon, and Professor Yakubu urged CSOs to encourage citizens to collect their permanent voters' cards. He also announced that dates for by-elections to fill recent vacancies in states and federal constituencies will be released soon. He reiterated the importance of CSOs adhering to INEC's guidelines and code of conduct available on the Commission's websites. From Abuja, Irene Okechukwu, Rapid TV News.
All right, welcome back. We'll go on a very short musical break right about now. We'll be right back.
Right, you're welcome back. It's so good to reminisce over those sounds, beautiful sounds, and that sonorous voice of Onyeka Onwenu. And this morning on the show, we have joining us someone who had what you might call a wonderful relationship with the late Onyeka Onwenu. You know, had a couple of professional experiences as well. I'm talking about Arthur Brooks. Thank you for joining us on the breakfast show this morning. This is your second appearance on the show.
Yep.
And it doesn't excite me that it has to be on a subject such as this, but how do you feel about the news of Onyeka Onwenu's passing?
Well, very sad. You know, I knew her not much. We'd met on several occasions, and we were on a film set together in 2005 on Rising Moon, so we spent basically 5-6 weeks working closely together. So very sad, but you know, I guess we should celebrate her life. She's an icon. And she's part of a generation which are, some of us are passing. Well, yes, it's a sad, but we should celebrate.
I mean, in the very little time that you guys spent together, what would you say was her best attribute?
Very, what shall I say, perfectionist. Everything she does, there was times she wouldn't come to set because things were not right, she wasn't feeling right. I'm not coming to set today. My mind is not good. But she's a great person to work for. She was very critical towards me because I was playing Reverend Father, and I'm not very good at doing what they call a genuflection. So she kept saying, Mr. Arthur, you have not got it right. You genuflect like this, not like that. Okay, we worked together before. We met a little bit way back in '84 when she was presenting a film, a television series for joint NTA BBC called The Squandering of Riches. We met in Kano during the segments in the Kano production, which I was slightly involved with. So I must admit I've enjoyed my meeting with her, and I learned a bit of acting from her as well, I believe.
And do you have any last words you want to say, tribute to the iconic Onyeko?
Yeah, she's one of the last of the greats. Although you said earlier, not gone too soon, but I think in a way she went a bit soon, and she went in the way she went. She come off a performance. She was performing at a birthday party for somebody, I'm not quite sure yet who.
Selau Koli.
Okay, and I guess that's the way to go. Your last performance followed by your passing, but it's great performer, great artist, great journalist, great politician as well. She delved into that. She was, you know, rights activist, everything really. Great lady. A great lady.
Wow. Thank you so much for those kind words. Our prayer is that her soul will rest in peace, and please do accept our condolences. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Arthur, for coming. We're going to break now. At about 8 o'clock, it will be time for sports. Don't go anywhere. Rise and shine with Rapid Dawn, your essential morning companion only on Rapid TV.
Start your day with us. We bring you the latest news, engaging discussions, and a fresh perspective on issues that matter.
From weather updates to our wellness tip, interesting recipes, and our trendy conversations every Tuesday to the weirdest of talks on Wednesday, Rapid Dawn has got you covered. So grab a coffee and join us every weekday morning on Rapid Dawn. Let's greet the day together.
Rapid Dawn, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. only on Rapid TV. Join us and wake to the dawn of a new day. See you in the morning. A very good morning, and thank you for joining us on Rapid Sports this morning. Ugochukwu Madumere is my name. The Olympics is ongoing in France, in Paris to be precise. Lots of games from basketball to football, to tennis, to table tennis, to swimming, there's skateboarding, there's athletics, there's a whole lot. There's even sports that you never knew existed, and all of that is going on at the world's biggest sporting stage at the moment. Well, of course, Nigeria is ably represented across several of those sporting events, and one of such is badminton. And I mean, we've had more of lows than highs as far as this year's Olympics is concerned. It was just day before yesterday that we had any Nigerian team or any Nigerian athlete get something worthwhile, and I was talking about the Tigress, who recorded a win against Australia in the women's basketball event. Now, yesterday, we were hoping that our representative in the badminton games would continue in that fashion, but unfortunately, it did not happen. Talking about Team Nigeria's general captain now, and badminton player Anuluakpo Okpeori, who suffered a disappointing start to his Paris 2024 Olympics campaign, losing in straight sets to Switzerland's Tobias Keunzi in their Group N match. Keunzi, who had previously lost to China's Li Zhifeng in straight sets, delivered a strong performance against the higher-ranked Nigerian. And despite a closely fought first set, and I think the game was actually lost in that first set, that Keunzi won 22-20. He ultimately secured a 21-14 victory in the second set, claiming the match to love. Keunzi, or 2-0 if you like, Keunzi is ranked 181st in the men's singles ranking, while Okpeori is ranked 10th. And you see how disappointing this is. Well, it is a daunting challenge for Okpeori today. He has a chance to redeem himself. It is his final Group N match against world number 6. If you could not defeat world number 181st, is it world number 6 you are going to win? Well, you know what they say, it's never over until it's over, and impossible is nothing, especially when it comes to sports. And so Okpeori has our goodwill today in his final Group N match against world number 6, Li Zhifeng. Well, in another action for Team Nigeria today, it's going to be the Super Falcons, who will be seeking to advance from Group C of the women's football tournament when they face Japan in their last group game in Nantes. Well, they had lost their first 2 games against Brazil and Spain, needing a win against the Asians to stand a chance of progressing. So far, Nigeria has only recorded 1 win at the ongoing Paris Olympics, courtesy of the Tigress inspiring 75-62 win over Australia on Monday. Remember before that, the quartet of Aruna Quadri, Omotai Olajide of Young Edem, and Fatimo Bello have all been knocked out in the first round of the table tennis event. Well, following the suspension of Cynthia Ogunshemilore, Nigeria's last hope in the boxing event, Adam Olaore also crashed out of the games on Sunday after losing to Kazakhstan's Aybek Oraoubey in the round of 16 of the men's 92 kg heavyweight category. Well, you wanted updates from the Olympics. They are not so encouraging. But there's even more devastating news. Well, you could say Nigeria has happened again to one of our star athletes as far as this year's Olympics is concerned. And that's talking about Favour Ofili, who has come out to express her frustration and disappointment, revealing that she will not compete in the 100 meters race at the ongoing Olympics in Paris. Now, you would think this is because of an injury. Maybe she wants to go deal with a personal matter. You will be surprised when you find out that the reason why Favour Ofili will not be participating in the event that she was meant to participate in, which is the 100 meters race, is due to an administrative failure, well, allegedly now, by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria and the Nigeria Olympic Committee. Simply put, the person who was responsible for registering her putting her name down for this event did not do that. Now, let's take a look at how she did express herself in reaction to this. It is with great regret that I've just been told I will not be competing in the 100 meters. I qualified, which is not easy, by the way. But those with the AFN and NOC failed to enter my name. How is this even possible? I have worked for 4 years to earn this opportunity. For what? To not be entered and compete at the Olympic Games because the responsible organization failed to enter me. Please remember, in the last Olympic Games, I was not able to compete because AFN, NADC, and NOC failed to release funds for athletes in the USA to be tested, if you recall, during the last Olympics in Tokyo, which made 14 Nigerian athletes that qualified not to compete. They were disqualified. Now this, if those responsible are not held accountable for taking this opportunity from me, neither organization can ever be trusted in the future. Next one is the 200 meters. I hope I'm entered. Now, the Olympics event are meant to start tomorrow. And so far, so good. I mean, you've seen how we are fared in boxing, table tennis, even football. It's just been really crazy. And in the one area, because I mean that's what the Olympics is all about. For some countries, we're not expecting to have a medal haul like the USA's and the China's and you know, the France, like the host nation. Nobody's expecting that. But at least in those games where we have considerable advantage, I mean, you look at that Team Nigeria contingent where you have a Favor Ofili, for instance, you have a Toby Amosan. I mean, these are people that you can rely on to at least make a podium finish, even if they do not win gold, maybe silver, maybe bronze. This is a list of all of our contingent for the track and field. You could see Favor Ofili's name there. So you want to tell me that the organization responsible for these athletes, you remembered to put their names down as to let Nigerians know this is the contingents that will be representing the country, but somehow you forgot or you were unable to register them for the event in which they were meant to participate in? Well, this really raises a lot of concern. It raises a lot of questions as to, are we really ready in terms of preparation, in terms of accountability? Is this the best that we can do? Now, this is a repeat. It's now as if, wow, I can imagine how this would feel for Favor Ofili. As an athlete, you put in your best, you train, you do everything you can to qualify for the Olympics. Is no mere feat. You have to pass through a lot of trials before you can qualify for the event. And eventually when you do, you're not able to participate. And it's even heartbreaking because this is not the first time. In 2020, she was unable, she was one of those who were unable to participate in games, you know, because she wasn't tested. Now, this time around, it's not the issue of testing again. It's now the fact that the organization that was supposed to register her for the event it was unable to do so. Well, she also qualified for the 200 meters race. Who knows? Has she also been registered for this one? Or is it going to be a case of she was not registered again? Well, she, like I told you, she is one of those people that at least you would expect that they would get something for us here. She's once been in the top 8 of the World Championships, a Commonwealth Games silver medalist, an African Games champion, a former World Under-20 champion, an African Senior Athletics Championships champion in the 200 meters. Now, that is a potential medalist at the Olympics. But guess what? She has no opportunity to even showcase her skill. Her current world ranking stands at 23 in the 100 meters and 52nd in the 200 meters. Her highest rankings are 13th, 23rd, and 37th. In May, Ofili also shattered 3 records in 1 month, but unfortunately, she would not be running in the 100 meters. Now, let's round off with news regarding the Olympics by giving you update about what's going to happen today. It's a win or bust, win or go home encounter for the Super Falcons, who will hope to end their 2 consecutive defeats in the women's football event when they take on Japan in the final Group C game at the Stade de la Jabois, Louis Fontenay, later on today. So, Nigeria and Japan are both targeting a place in the Olympic quarterfinals, and a win for either side would do their campaign a lot of good. It's easier, it's better for Japan. They have won at least a game. They have 3 points. Well, the Falcons are at the bottom of the group because we have been unable to register a goal or a point in this competition so far. Now, Japan are in second place with 3 points to their name, followed by Brazil before you have Nigeria. Spain are on top because they have won 2 games in a row now. And, well, we're making our appearance at this particular Olympics. The last time before now was in 2008, and our return has not been the kind of return that we anticipated. It has not been fulfilling. It has not been exciting, because what Nigerians expect is that how many times now, champions in Africa, you would expect that at least we'll get something from some of these games. And it's not as if we play badly. It's just that when we get to where it matters most, which is the final third, we're not able to put the ball in the back of the net. And it's been our greatest undoing in this competition so far. Nigeria will be concerned with the fact that we have now failed to score in 3 consecutive internationals, which is something we'll need to change if we have any hopes of progressing to the knockout rounds for the first time since 2004 Olympics. So, the Falcons may be able to draw inspiration from the fact that they claimed a narrow 1-0 win in their only previous meeting with Japan at the 2004 Olympics in Greece. And that was the only time we were able to win against the Japanese at such a tournament. So will that happen again today? Only time will tell, and perhaps we will be relying on a miracle. Even if we win against Japan, we need Spain to beat Brazil for us before we can progress to the next round. So, Nigerians, if you can pray, pray. If you can offer supplications, please do. If you can support, support. Whatever you can do in your own capacity. The only thing you cannot do is to be part of the starting 11 or even the bench. That has already been decided. But whatever you can do right about now, please do so we see how we can make progress from here. Now, it's not as if I want to be the custodian of terrible stories, but there's really not a lot that we have going for us as far as this Olympics is concerned, because there's a lot of issues in camp at the moment, because Team Nigeria athletes are exhibiting different kits of many colors and design that is depicting discordant tunes between the Sports Ministry and the Nigeria Olympics Committee. Remember the story we shared with you about the brand that was originally contacted, or rather given the contract, to dress up Team Nigeria athletes for the opening ceremony and then for their kids throughout the ceremony. Unfortunately, that did not work out. We learned that the Sports Ministry had made a different arrangement. So what we now have is that in the whole of the Olympic Village, I do not know of any other country where that is also the case. But for Team Nigeria, some people are wearing white and deep green. Other people are wearing white and something other kind of green. And I don't know how, if we cannot get a simple thing as wearing the same kit right, how do we expect to win laurels at these Olympics? I'm going to leave it at that so we can move to other exciting things. While still talking about the Olympics, we're now getting ready for the quarterfinals. France has set up a potentially explosive quarterfinal showdown with Argentina in the men's Olympic football tournament after beating New Zealand 3-0 in their final group game on Tuesday. Well, we had goals from Jean-Philippe Mateta, Desire Adur, and Arnaud Kalimuendo, who scored for the host yesterday in Marseille. France finished on top of Group A with 3 wins out of 3 and no goals conceded. That is absolutely beautiful. The United States going through as runners-up after seeing off Guinea Africa's representative, Kevin Paredes, scored twice. It was a 3-0 win for the U.S. side. That means Thierry Henry's French side will take on Argentina in Bordeaux later on Friday, after the South Americans' 2-time gold medalists went through in second place in Group B thanks to a 2-0 win over Ukraine in Lyon. Thiago Almada scored for Argentina just after halftime, and substitute Claudio Echeverri sealed their victory late on. And well, there's a little bit of issue now ahead of this particular match between France and Argentina. Remember, after Argentina won the Copa America, and while they were celebrating, we had an Enzo Fernandez who made a video of where Argentina players were making racist chants, which some have even termed homophobic, directed to the French national team. We did share that story with you earlier. Now, FIFA is investigating that particular story, but now you could understand there's going to be a bit of a tension. Argentina, there was a video where, you know, racist chants, racist slurs were directed at the French national team. Now they get to play together at the quarterfinal stage of the Olympics. And remember, France are the host nation, so there's a lot to watch out for. The last time both nations met was in Qatar during the World Cup final, and Argentina won on penalties after a pulsating 3-3 draw. The men's Olympic football tournament, you might want to say, is a different ball game. It's an under-23 competition. Expect up to 3 over 8 players per squad, and only 2 members of Argentina's Olympic squad, Nicolas Otamendi and Julian Alvarez, played in the 2022 game, and none of France's. So we have 2 people who were part of that 3-3 draw and in the Argentine national team, but no member of the French national team was there when they played the final in Qatar. And it was surprising yesterday. Egypt beat Spain by 2-1. We also had Morocco, another African representative, beating Iraq 3-0. And that was absolutely imperious. The same Iraq that beat Ukraine and had a draw. Iraq beat Ukraine and had a draw against Argentina, I believe. And Morocco and Argentina finished level on points and tied on goals scored and conceded, but Morocco won 2-1 when the sides met in the opening game. So, courtesy of that, Morocco topped the group. Remember, Morocco were winners of last year's Under-23 Cup of Nations and will play the quarterfinal against the U.S. Egypt reached the quarterfinal after a surprise 2-1 win over already qualified Spain, with Ibrahim Adel scoring both goals. And so, do watch out for that. Egypt lost in the quarterfinals 3 years ago to Brazil, who went on to beat Spain in the final. Spain's last 8 tie will be in Lyon against the winners of Group D. So that's about it for the Olympics. Let's turn attention now to more exciting news, talking about transfers in Europe, where a lot is happening, my people. Everton have signed Republic of Ireland central defender Jake O'Brien from Lyon, the Premier League club announced on Tuesday. The 23-year-old has agreed a 4-year deal for an undisclosed fee, although British media reports suggested O'Brien had moved to Merseyside for a figure of around 17 million. Now, I promise to give you updates day by day with regards to what is happening with Victor Osimhen. Yesterday, there was I don't know what to call it now, 2, as far as football transfers are concerned, I mean, those who follow the trends, you know there are 2 names that you cannot ignore when it comes to transfers. If Fabrizio Romano tells you that I'm going to play for Chelsea tomorrow, you can put your money on it. I'm definitely going to appear in the blue colors of Chelsea. And then there's a second name, David Ornstein. Now, these 2 names are putting out somewhat different reports now with regards to the latest update with regards to Victor Osimhen's transfer, to be or not to be. Let's take a look at what what's his name again? David Ornstein is saying. Now, David Ornstein is of the opinion that talks are ongoing between Napoli and Chelsea to sign Romelu Lukaku, while discussions between Napoli and Chelsea are also taking place about a move for Victor Osimhen in opposite direction. Lukaku will be permanent. Osimhen season, long loan plus buy option. So what this means is that there's a situation, according to David Ornstein, Romelu Lukaku is going to go to Napoli. Victor Osimhen is going to come to Chelsea, but on loan. Now, depending on how he performs in the season, it will now determine if the deal is going to be permanent or not. Now, let's take a look at what Fabrizio Romano is saying. Fabrizio Romano is saying that Osimhen's agent, Calenda, has said that there's nothing like a loan move. He has denied the possibility of that for Victor Osimhen. He said, I read about fantasy exchanges, now referring to what David Ornstein had posted with Victor, as if he was a package to be delivered quickly. This package is the top scorer of the third Scudetto in the history of Napoli. Respect and stop fake news. So, now, I don't know who to believe. Is Victor Osimhen going to go on loan? Is he going to be signed by Chelsea? Is he going to be signed by PSG? Is he going to be signed by Napoli? I don't know. But this is what some people are saying. David Ornstein, we understand, does most of his reportage by talking to club officials, whereas Fabrizio Romano talks more to the agents of the footballers. So now you can understand where both men are coming from. Possibly, David Ornstein has spoken to officials of both Napoli and Chelsea and has gotten the report that there's the possibility of a loan move. But from the table of Fabrizio Romano, who is talking to the agents of these players who are most times responsible for where the player goes, the information is that there is no loan move. But whatever happens, we will let you know. Brighton have agreed a 5.9 million deal to allow Germany midfielder Pascal Gross to join Borussia Dortmund. He's German, so maybe that will be easy. Chelsea and Aston Villa have submitted offers for 21-year-old Bayer Leverkusen and Germany forward Maximilian Baer. Monza's move for Costa Rica and former Nottingham Forest goalkeeper Keylor Navas could collapse over differences between the two parties during negotiations. And Manchester United are close to signing Arsenal's 16-year-old Denmark youth international forward Chidozie Obi-Martin. I've heard a lot about this Chidozie young man and how promising he is. I don't know why Arsenal had to let him go, even though he's very young and has very huge prospects, but maybe Manchester United can cash in on that. Well, there's plenty more to tell you, but unfortunately, this is where the cookie crumbles on this morning's edition of the show, because he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Tomorrow is another day, and I will be here again to keep you updated on the latest in the world of sports. Ugochukwu Madumere is my name, and there's more coming on The Breakfast Show. All right. Thank you for joining us. This, like you know, is the most interesting part of our show every morning. It is when we get to have exciting and stimulating conversations on issues that matter. This morning, we have joining us a legal luminary, if I must say. And pulling him out of his very busy schedule, you know, to be part of our conversation this morning was no mere fit. Thank you so much, Barrister Michael Ayuba, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, our conversation this morning with Barrister is going to be centered on the original, or what you might call the indigenous inhabitants of the FCT. Not a lot of people know that there are people who own the land, as it were, and their culture, their history, their way of life. Are there any challenges that such groups are facing? These and many more are what we're going to be dissecting this morning. So, Barrister, how about we start with perhaps the origin, the history of the original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory?
Okay, first of all, I want to correct the impression that I'm a legal luminary. Because the legal profession is actually a very tight and conservative one. And I don't want when I go to court one day and I made a mistake and my colleagues like, this guy, you went on TV and told them. So I want to correct that. I'm a young lawyer. In the context of law, I'm a young lawyer.
So he's humble. That's what he's trying to do.
And I practice in Abuja, basically. So that's all I'll tell you. So when we talk about the historical part of the indigenous people of Abuja, you know, the idea of being indigenous to a place, for a while, that conversation has been very subjective because most of what we read today about indigenous people, be them by you or any other place, most of the histories were not written, or most of these documents were not actually written by these people themselves. It was either a colonial master or somebody who was an interpreter to a colonial master that did the job. So the people will always say from their perspective who they think they are. Government will always say from its perspective who they think these people are. Because just like the colonial master, they always say what they think they saw. You can imagine somebody coming from Britain across the Atlantic Ocean coming to tell us that he's the one that discovered River Niger. This is the waters that some of the people who lived around there have been drinking ages past before his arrival, but he claims he discovered River Niger. So this and more are the factors that affect people. Basically, I'll tell you that the indigenous people has been here for as long as humanity has been here. Because even if we try to go back, you only go back to the time that writing began in the country. Or when there were influx of people who were presumed to know how to write. And, okay, my language is Baji, but for a while, people have referred to us as Gwari.
Gwari, yeah. Which is yam, right? Gwari is
she
yam.
said, which is yam. Okay, that is why I told you that the idea of history, it can be subjective to an extent. My language is Baji. But because somebody cannot, let's take for example, I'll use some places for example. You call Gariki, but Gariki was Pei. If you go to Gudu, Gudu is not Gudu, Gudu is Gudwa. Galadima is Gajima. Because there are always variation from time to time because people who are coming do not know how to pronounce this thing. And when they were writing the Google map or preparing the Google map, naming streets, how did they even care to even consult these people who actually know what is the correct pronunciation? So even if I tell you Gbaji, you can't pronounce Gbaji, you just write anything you like. And that's what is going to be documented because when something is written for lawyers, for example, if we have an agreement with you and it is already written, we don't talk to the paper anymore. The paper speaks first. Probably if there are some issues, we just ask two of us to speak to the paper. But in the meantime, when it comes to decision making, that paper will become superior. So that's what has happened to a lot of cultures, even in Nigeria. And then when you now talk about the indigenous people in FCT, that's what has happened to them. So the idea of Gbaji, Gwari is a thing of, even though some people have claimed they are Gwari. And for me, if you ask me, I don't want to offend anybody, but I would have said that for political reasons. But Gbaji is one of the indigenous tribes or one of the most populated indigenous tribes in Abuja. And then we've been here for long, even before Agudapane. You know, Abuja is defined by Agudapane. They tell you from this kilometer to this square meters and all that, from here to here. And then that's what makes up Abuja. But before he came, we were here. He came here in I think that panel was given that job, I think in 1977, if I'm not making a mistake. And then Abuja was declared Federal Capital Territory in 1991. Okay, but there are some people, my father is older than 1977. Even my grandpa is still here. It's older than, so are you trying to tell them they never existed here? And if you go to my grandpa now, if you go to my grandfather's house, you still see his father's grave. So this,
that's your great-grandfather's grave?
Yes. I even met him.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So are you going to tell us that we came here in 1991? So it's just a subjective thing. But I'll tell you that indigenous people have always been here.
So does that now discredit some of the information we have online narrating, you know, the history of your people?
Not absolutely. Why I would say not absolutely is that for the fact that it mentioned that there are people who were already here before time, shows that, okay, they recognize there were people here, but not all facts are correct.
Okay.
Yes, but I would say, most of the time when documents are created by government, I would say it, that they do it in such a way that, okay, you check some populations keep growing in Nigeria while others keep declining. So it means other people have been given, certain tribes and languages have been given better, and the remaining people, they were just dormant. So what's happening there? So everybody is propelling his figures to favor him politically. So you who do not have control over the system, what do you do about your own figures? Who usually counts? So it is he who counts, we tell you. And because he's in charge of the institution, that's the official figure. There is nothing you can do about it. That's what has happened to the indigenous people.
Okay, let's now talk about sometime in 2016, there were reports that the people of Abuja were going to take up arms and fight because they were trying to displace them and you know, trying to displace them and give a different interpretation. And then we've had this, I mean, I think during the last election, we had this quote, no man's land, a lot. Oh, Abuja is a no man's land, therefore this, that. As a core bona fide indigene, how does that make you feel whenever you hear the no man's land every time?
You see, this idea, a lot of things have been done to the indigenous people. That's why you see in Lagos, I think there's something currently going on. They're telling you they are going to have a sacrifice and all that.
Yeah.
You are not coming out on 1st of August. See, this idea that there is a no man's land, it's really funny. Even the America that is well developed, we know that when the Washington DC, when they were still Washington, before there was a Washington DC, there were indigenous people there. Even though they have been displaced, it took them a long time before they could get their own franchise to vote. And if you read that history, you realize that these guys had to literally struggle, fight for them to be included in the system, and for them to have their own Washington, and the government should have their Washington DC. Now, this is the exact thing that is happening in Abuja. For a while, I will tell you that all the persons who have become president of Nigeria, I don't know, they have always looked at indigenous people like fools, or let me use that word if I'm allowed to use it on media. Like, we don't know what we are doing. You could see what Senator Ireti said. One of the things she said during that people consider very insulting was, she said the list of persons that was submitted to former President Goodluck Jonathan for ministerial slot, that I watched the interview online, and to my surprise, she said that they were all illiterates.
Wow.
Okay. No, so the idea of being, I know a lot of people that she wouldn't match their education, their level of education and intelligence, even as a senator, but just privilege and opportunity, and then you have the resource to pursue these things and get them working. So the idea that there is a no man's land in Abuja is a narrative being pushed by certain people because they see the milk and honey dripping in Abuja. How do we get it? It's first of all, make the indigenous people lose who they are, lose their identity, and then we take what we want to take. Most of the persons you are seeing them in Abuja do not wish to be buried in Abuja when they die. They want to go back to their village, but they know in Abuja there is a lot. There is availability of opportunities, there are resources to be tapped. And how do we get this thing? It's to make the indigenous people feel like they are nobodies. And government has continually helped all these kind of people who believe that Abuja is a no man's land. Lagos belongs to somebody, Abuja also belongs to somebody. Any other place in this world belongs to one or two persons. Even if you go to the vast forests of Sahara, there are countries that take those places as theirs. So what are we even saying? Not to talk of Abuja that has been here. When did Abuja even come into being constitutionally?
But then again, are the indigenous people responsible for the development we have seen in the city? The milk and honey that you talk about. Okay. Is it the indigenous people who make this milk and honey to flow?
Okay, good. I like what you have said. You are not since you have been in Abuja, whether as an indigenous person or as a resident, you have not been flying on air. You've been walking on land. And at one point, whether we agree or not, at one point or the other, land belongs to one person or the other. What is happening is that government will make you believe Section 1 of the Land Use Act, that all the land belongs to the governor of the state. Governor just came and owned all the land. Before him.
I mean, that's what we've been taught, even right from school.
Okay, if nobody owns land, then why is government trying to confer land on people by a piece of paper? C of O, R of O. It means they understand that this land is actually owned by somebody. But for you to confer that right on somebody else, you first of all come, hijack it, and then you can use a piece of paper that is constitutionally considered legal and give it to another person. If not, they would have said, okay, you don't own the land. Oh guys, just build anywhere you see this place. Are you getting it? And if somebody do not own the land, then the government will not even be talking about the compensation they have always claimed to be paid, to have paid. So if it is not belonging to somebody, then why are you even talking about paying compensation to somebody?
I know that if we want to talk about the aspect of land, land ownership in Abuja, like I always tell people, if you want to purchase a land in Abuja, you have to shine your eyes. I'm serious, because when it comes to lands, I know it's something that I've seen a person lose about 5 lands in Abuja just because. In fact, I don't even want to go there. But let's now. I know that there are so many contentious things when it comes to the original inhabitants of Abuja. Yes, these people are still here, but they have been pushed inside, except for those who have been able to say, no, I'm going to still spread my wings, however it is. But the real people, it's just like when you go to your different states, everybody's free, everybody's moving. But here in the FCT, some of them have been pushed to in the interior. And so it makes it look like, we want to create space for the outsiders to come. But my question now, before we enter into the aspect of culture and tradition, right? Because I know that the Gbagis have beautiful culture. We'll go into that. By the way, Agife. Okay, I've forgotten my Gbagi now. Afia. I used to understand a bit of it. I could greet then, morning. I could greet afternoon. I could greet evening. I've forgotten my.
And you lost touch with the culture. Kuma,
know that song now, you know it.
No, it's a very popular song.
Exactly.
If you were here before the 2000s, it was one of the most popular songs.
Yes.
Graduations for primary school, junior school.
I used to come in. I used to come to dance. Kumalo. So, but before we go into Kumalo, don't worry, you will teach me very well. But what are the people doing to not be pushed over? I know that just recently, I mean, during the time of, when the president was announcing lists, he did mention a Gbagi man, I mean, an indigene now, and the entire people of FCT, they were very happy that, we now have a representative in the person of, yes, Gisaro, yes. How did your people take that news, number one? Was it more like, okay, we are finally getting remembered, we're getting the needed recognition? How did you guys receive the news?
Okay, first of all, I've not had this opportunity, but I would say since the history of Nigeria, I would want to commend President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for what he has done for our people. And I want to also commend the Honorable Minister of FCT, President of Barrister Nyesom Wike. I think ever since I've known the FCT, these are the persons that have actually come to FCT. Quote me anyway, I'm not even afraid to say it before anybody, that these are actually the persons that have really considered the indigenous people of Abuja and think they are actually capable of doing some things for themselves. Somebody will tell you they had good intention. It's like the ministerial slot of Abuja has always been the birthright of certain people. And when you want to talk about it, like, okay, we are all one Nigeria. Truly, we are all one Nigeria, and you're having 2 ministers in one government from the same state. You're having 6 House of Rep members. You're having any number of local government areas you want. Some even have up to 10. And then you're having 3 senators, and we will have to depend on 1 senator, 2 House of Rep member, 6 area councils that are being controlled by a minister that is not even from here. So you get to understand that for that long period of time, our people have been marginalized and been misrepresented and been taken for granted to an extent. What Tinubu and Wike, because why I'm saying Wike is because even in their dealings, they still show that they recognize that this place was not just an empty space where government came. There are people here and then they have carried our people along. So for me, our people were happy that for the first time, somebody indigenous is making it to the cabinet list. I can tell you, we have so many professors. And the thing that actually surprised me is that even while other government decide to marginalize our people, they never deem it fit to, okay, if we are not even going to give an indigenous person from Abuja, there are other languages that we share boundaries with people with Nasarawa, Kaduna, Niger, Kogi. You never thought it wise to bring a Gbaji man from those states too. So it means it was a deliberate calculation. If you say all the people in the FCT are not qualified, none of them have gone to school. So there is
Which is not possible.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not possible.
Now, you did not find any Gbaji man in Niger State. You did not find anyone in Kaduna. You did not find anyone in Nasarawa. You did not find anyone in Kogi. You did not find anyone in the diaspora to say, okay, please, your people are so not educated enough. Please, can you come back and help them? So it shows it's just a deliberate thing for them to exclude these people because they don't want these people to be empowered. And you know, it's not enough that you have money. It is good that you have power. Those who have money and they don't have power, that's why they keep spending a lot of money to get things done. Those who have money and have power, they will never spend, they just call because they know the right person who will do for them. So if you understand power play or politics, you understand that this has been a continuous attempt to put our people aside and make sure that they get only the crumbs. And that's when we talk about our people being pushed aside. When you come take over this land and pay 50,000 naira and you end up building a duplex and you are selling that duplex for 300 million. Please, what business did you give me that I'm doing that I will buy a duplex of 300 million? I usually use, I don't know whether Brains and Hammer will be happy with this. When I was,
go ahead.
Okay, I'm not supposed to mention it. Okay, I will leave them. There are other estates surrounding the community I stay. Apart from them, there are about 6, 7. In fact, my community is surrounded by estates, so not them. So what happened there? They came, they said they are developers, they show you that paper from FCDA and all that. Some of those lands were taken over when I was still at maybe primary 4, 5. Or some even before. Some I didn't even know when they were taken over, but okay. Today those houses are sold for like how many million? 108. If you are buying cars, you have to go for 18 million, 120 million, and then you ask yourself, when did I graduate from the university? What am I doing? I'm practicing law, I'm working for somebody. How much is it paying? This? So when do I get to get that house of 300 million, 400 million?
In your own state?
Yeah,
or
in my village.
In your own village?
Yes.
But then again, that is not an Abuja problem. Even when you go to Lagos, in Port Harcourt, everywhere, it's almost like that.
No, you know the funny thing? This thing is gradually getting to everybody. You know, some people felt, I'm from somewhere, and then whatever happened to the indigenous people, it's not my business. You are in Abuja, you're bubbling, and then you hear that your state governor is grading road and you have demolished the house of your parent. That is when you now start to get, somebody told me the last time, one setting that I was at the Supreme Court, is like, I didn't really understand what you people were going through. But immediately they decided to reconstruct Port Harcourt. That's when I knew, because they were like originally from that place, Port Harcourt. And then now she was telling me that they can't even afford the kind of houses that are there. The rent is outrageous. I said, well, welcome to the club. Maybe we'll join our hands and speak together to government to consider these indigenous people. Because even in well-developed countries, the economical means and power of everybody is not the same. You can provide the amenities, you can provide the welfare and all that, but some people will still be better than others. And if you don't make it in such a way that those people who are at the bottom of the scale of things get it easy, before you know, the society is in disarray. And I would say my people have always been peace-loving. We have really tried. So if you have heard anything in 2016 for me, well, I don't know about what you're saying, but If there was anything like that, I would just, okay.
And even aside from even 2016, in 2018, I did have a conversation with one of your persons,
Okay.
you know, Honorable Abubakar. I can't remember his last name right now. And he did talk. He didn't mention about the taking up arms though, but he did say that they were fighting to make sure that the indigents are not neglected as they used to. We had an extensive conversation then on set. I remember in 2018 about that.
Okay, I think what I would say regarding that is that I don't know if you grew up in a place where you go to hunting before. Have you realized that certain kind of animal, let me use a snake for an example, when it hears vibration and the vibration is contentious and it tries to run, but there is a distance it will run, it does not realize that, man, if I don't stand for myself, I'm going to die. So after running for a while, it turns back and faces whatsoever is chasing it. That's what has happened to Abuja indigenous people. Peaceful, calm, been moving slowly, trying to be wise, to be diplomatic and all that. But at one point, man has to leave. If you are going to push me to the point that I'm going to die, at least let me try and fight and survive. If I die, how do you extend my offspring to live?
True.
So whatever that had happened or whatever rumor that you have heard shows that the indigenous people had gotten to a place where, oh no, you are taking me from Gaiki, you want to send me to Wasa. Oh, you're taking me from Apo, you want to send me to Cheude. Why? Am I not a human being? I told somebody the other time when I was on radio for an interview, I told them that I said, me alone, at this small level and capacity, you have never heard my name. I'm not making any wave in Abuja as an indigenous person. I have not made that wave that you hear my name everywhere. But I can give you a list of people that if you really want to give them minister for being minister, because if we are to go by the qualification of some of the persons that have become ministers, if not for politics, their level of education is not even better than some people in my community right now. But you tell me that you have gone around Abuja that you can't get people who are qualified to do that same job. Why? So how do you search for that job? How do you search for these people? So I know that a lot of us are qualified and can do that job the same way other persons. And if we don't have the experience, we'll learn on the job. There are so many people that are learning on the job. We can equally learn on the job. We are all human beings.
Oh yes.
Is that not causing a lot of problems for us?
Yes. Oh yes.
No, if you feel that 90 people are experienced, let the remaining 10 people learn.
Absolutely.
And I'm willing to be among the 10% that will learn. It will be pride to say you know how to do everything. So that's my own view concerning that.
Okay. At this point, we're going to go on a very short break, and when we come back, we will delve into the culture, the tradition, the sweet part, because I do know that the Gbagi people have very handsome men. We'll be right back anyway. All right, welcome back. This is the juiciest part of the conversation. Why are you agreeing?
I like juice.
I see. Okay, let's not talk about culture and tradition of the Gbagi people. The music, okay, so I was sharing with you something that happened. Let's start with the religious, the culture, the dance and all of that. Anytime I hear that drum, anywhere I am, I just know, even right now if I hear that drum, I just know that this is the Gbagi sound. This is not any other place. I just know that this is the sound. But there've been some, mixed reaction regarding to how that process is done. For example, so in these occasions, what happens is we see the pounding, the women come with the mortar, the pistol, and the Joro, right? Gyoro.
Just guinea corn.
Yeah, guinea corn. And they pour it in the mortar. And then there's this energetic man who lays down. I don't understand.
Continue. I love the way you're narrating it.
Who lays down, and then the mortar is on him, and the drum is going on with the dance going on, and then these women, 2 big pistols, and they are boom, pounding this guinea corn, and then they pound it, they sieve it out until it's like pour it back again, pound again, and every time I watch this, I'm like, huh? What is going on here? I wish we had a video of that so that you guys could see. I love everything that happens, but I've never been able to understand how that is achieved. There are some people have said different things regarding to that, but as an indigenous, you know about the culture. I would want you to share this beauty with us.
All right. You see, at every time, or almost everywhere, when you go to a place when they want to showcase their culture, there are things that are peculiar to them and then specific to them that they do. And I think that particular experience you just narrated is one of the peculiar displays of Gbaji culture. And now, it is just like talking about Gbaji people and not talking about Oje, which is in every Gbaji ceremony, weddings. You must see people drinking what Hausa people could loosely call tuwo. All right. So these are things that have marked our identity and culture. It was done during coronation of kings, so the festival celebration, and all that. So this whole thing are some of the things that make Gbaji people distinct from other tribes, because you have not found that with any other tribe. That is where you can remember Gbaji people and remember the idea of pounding something on somebody's body.
On the chest.
Was it on the chest or on his stomach?
How do you guys do it?
Okay, the thing is, I will say, it's not everybody that can do that. First of all, it's not everybody. No matter how you want to represent it, it's not everybody that can do that. Anybody who has decided to do that knows that he has followed the due protocol. Let me use that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, he has followed the due protocol, because the truth is, not every aspect of culture can be carried out with the way we are going on. You know, let me say the whole set or the whole generation of African youth are actually going through an identity crisis phase, in my own opinion. A lot of people, that is why you see our marriages are having a lot of problems, because a lot of us, we are still struggling from whether we are Africans, am I a Christian, am I a Muslim, am I... So you find 2 people in a relationship, but the principles that are guiding them are at conflict. The man wants an ideal African woman. The woman wants an ideal Western man. So what you see there is not because the idea of not being compatible is the issue of psychology and how, a thought process that has been distorted. So we are in a relationship, we want to be like whites. Come on, the sociology of your relationship is not the same, because you are from a home where you wake up in the morning, you do this, and then you are trying to implement waking up and drinking tea in the morning. It might go for some people if they grew up and saw their parents, but for some people who didn't have that opportunity, you are still going to battle. So culture generally is going through that phase. And there is one thing, I have a friend who studied linguistics. He said that, he was telling me when we were having a discussion around culture, he was telling me that every language that refuses to borrow from others will soon die. Yeah, and that is why you see English will adopt a Nigerian word or more. All those words, they are beginning to recognize them, because if you don't recognize them in the long run, English will... So, but every day the Oxford Dictionary keep expanding. Why is it expanding? Because instead of fighting those new words that are coming, or those vocabularies that people are introducing into English, instead of fighting them, it's better to embrace them and own them. That makes the language more superior and give it a broader perspective and allow people to use it more freely and not feel like this language has come to fight us. That is one thing that English has been able to do. So the same way other cultures, with time, you see there have been advancement of technology, the sound quality from time. I think let me say late 2010, from my own observation, the sound began to change.
Why are you guys changing the sound?
I don't play traditional instruments, I don't know. But I think almost every culture is going through that phase. So, but there's been an awakening where some people are beginning to opine that the dance that some ladies dance these days, even me, I'm part of those persons that hold the opinion. It's not Gbaji dance. And if you go to my Facebook,
even when your people are doing the dance.
Yes, this is happening.
They change a bit of it.
There are changes that are coming in. Some will be to your advantage, some will be to your disadvantage. I have personally opined that it's the corruption of the mind that is causing some dance steps that are walking into Gbaji dance. Because if you notice, if you watch Gbaji traditional dance from 2000, 2002 back, you see, it is celestial. Let me use that word.
That's the way to describe it.
It is celestial. But what we have, if you were free, I would take you to maybe a wedding party and see how people dance. Then you ask yourself, if you know Gbaji culture, you know that this is not it. But because people are beginning to embrace other ideas and they are not able to distinguish them, just dance anything they think is Gbaji dance.
But hope they still do that thing with the leg.
Okay,
hope that one has not changed.
What is that?
I wish I could stand to show you guys now. Okay. I wish I could stand.
Unfortunately, you cannot.
When they are holding that, do they still put that on the shoulder?
Yes. But
is it here?
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Any of
here. That's how they do the leg. Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
I understand what you're talking about. That's why I'm telling you that literally, just as westernization has affected our generally cultures, it's affecting that of the indigenous people. Because people are going to school and you are in the same class with people that are teaching you. When you graduate, you become different things. Whether in character, whether in morality, attitude, level of intelligence. So that's what is happening to the indigenous people. For me, I might come face to face with westernization. It might not corrupt my mind. Let me use that word. It might not corrupt my mind. It might not alter my thinking. It might not alter my belief and reverence for my culture. But somebody else will come in contact with you and it will alter everything. And completely, and then you start seeing him believing that when he goes to the village, if his grandma give him water, he shouldn't take it because he's been told by his pastor that his village people will get at him.
Oh my God.
But I don't know whether we think if these village people wanted to get at you, when you are at bet that you didn't even have control over your own.
They would have gotten it.
But is anything being done to put out the culture and tradition of Wagi and other indigenous tribes? Is anything being done to put it out there more? Because there are even people who do not know that there are people who are original inhabitants of Abuja.
What you're saying is, I'm not surprised. Actually, when I went to the Nigerian law school, I was at the Kano campus. That's where I was posted. I met people that were born and bred in Abuja here, but they didn't know that they were indigenous people. So it became my duty to leave my books and start educating them. So once in a while, when I'm having conversation with somebody at the canteen, I don't want to mention some specific location in Abuja, but there are a lot of people living there, and their parents have refused to tell them that this place we are staying, we came and collected it from people and we are staying there. The parents made them believe that that place was an empty land.
That's bad.
So, but all they know is that when our parents die, either they will the property to us or go and collect letters of administration and own the property, but they have not been educated enough to know and to understand that this place was occupied by certain people. It's either their shrines or their cultural heritages were demolished, their houses were, their huts were demolished, and they had to run because you cannot be fighting somebody with an arrow that is holding an AK-47 and it's on auto. You know what? It's not there's a difference when it's on manual, you shoot once, you shoot. But when it's an auto, you just use the trigger and you can't stand that.
This is where Juju comes in. Why are people laughing?
Okay, I'm not the one that said it.
I'm just asking. Talking about Juju, as we wrap up,
yes,
I want you to answer me now, you by yes or no. That thing they used to do in that dance, now clear eye.
Which of the dance? No, okay.
He's mentioned something about protocols that needs to be observed. Now they call him Juju.
Exactly. I like this.
Okay.
Yes.
No problem.
See, this is what happens. You believe in your man of God. I'm a Christian, like, yeah, I'm a practicing Christian. You believe in your man of God to declare his blessings upon you, and it happens. But when a Gbaji man decide to put water in a basket
and it stays,
there's no leakages, you fear.
No, why would I fear?
Are you sure you will start?
No. Oh, no. Okay, so the good thing. Okay, no. Wait. Let me finish. What I didn't tell you is that sometimes when I attend some of these dances, I see lots of things happening. I may not be able to remember all of these things.
Yes.
But that was what made it thrilling for me.
Okay.
To me, I was like, wow.
Okay, I think it's because you like adventure and then you like. But the thing is, a lot of people. I will tell you, like, generally, some people don't even want to go back to their villages because their mind has been shaped and has been reconstructed by whatsoever, whosoever they are following. The fact is, the practices might not be completely outright and clear to your understanding. That's because you grew up in a time where the practices have been mixed up with other cultures. Have you watched American God's Talent? Somebody comes to this chair, nobody's seated there, and then he covers it with a cloth, and boom, somebody is there.
Somebody's there.
Everybody's clapping. Oh, it's a magic. When it is an American or a European, it is magic. No, it is magic. It is brilliant and it is magic. Yes. But if I do it, now all of you will run. If I decide to call this chair now, come here, and this chair moves to this way, all of you will run.
I will stand up and give you a round of applause.
You don't run,
if I have a golden buzzer, I will give you a golden buzzer.
So, you see, we have been made to believe that whatever is African is pure, it's unclean. And then any other thing, Western, is it's perfect. So that is what is happening to every culture, including my own people. So we have these young persons that are coming up, whether they call themselves Gen Zs or Alphas or what they call themselves. I am not part of it. Because, so they just do everything they want to do and mix it up and say, okay, this is culture. People will not give more than what they have. If their minds have not been fed enough with their culture, they will never really understand the importance of culture.
True.
And a lot of us, Nigerians, Africans, my people too, young people, we have this inferiority complex and low self-esteem. I want to go. A lot of people just want to go abroad. Wait, what is happening there? What is happening there? They say greener pasture. Are you a goat? Why are you going? Why are you looking for green pasture?
At least you can protest there.
Oh my God. Okay.
You can protest in peace abroad.
Okay. You go to another man's land and you want to protest in peace. For me, I like the fact that I'm a citizen of Nigeria. I can confidently hit my chest and say I'm in Nigeria. But why are you looking for? You're saying you're looking for greener pasture.
Oh my God. It's been exciting this morning. It's been exciting. I wish we could go on and on. But unfortunately, that's our time, everyone.
Wait, nah.
That's our
he
time.
never talk about the fine men.
How
if
bad?
You have such
You
powers,
and fine men.
If you have such powers, that power to call the chair, don't call the chair. Just call a big bag with money. Then just call one black fine guy alongside with the big bag with money.
You want to marry him?
From back.
What I will do with him, no, don't worry. It's my business.
Okay, I think let me say this. Concerning what you have said, college and all that, have you noticed that even when the Europeans came to Africa, the first people that made, if you try to study history beyond the random curriculum, the first people that attempted to come to Nigeria were Portuguese people. But they couldn't withstand the pressure from our people on that south coast. They left. And the British people came. And British people, they did not just come with ordinary, okay, the Lord loves you, John 3:16, for God so loved the world and gave it. They came with their firearms. So if you do, one of the things they used was that they had superior weapons. And ask yourself, then there was the presence of our culture. What happened there? Why is it that our people were not able to completely resist them? The fact is, you see this technology, and have you ever asked yourself, when they build a bridge, you ask yourself, they just explain technologically how they lay these bridges, but have you asked yourself, what is holding that?
How they appeased the things, they follow the rules.
What is holding that water? You see, technology has presented itself like it is pure. It has presented itself like, nothing they happen.
Don't break this table.
Don't break this table.
Don't break this table.
But that is what technology has always made us believe. But you could see, if technology was that pure, so it was able to to overpower those that could just sit down here and just ask water to swallow somebody. Or they could just make some incantation and say some words and that ship will capsize. But that their ship came and it never capsized and they got here, they conquered everybody. They waged war against kings that refused. In fact, one of the kings in Nasarawa here, when I think is it Goldie or what did they call that colonial soldier? When he conquered the king, he asked the king to carry him on his back. You know what African kings are? They pass through serious tradition. Like for you to ask an African king
to carry you
on his back, that's the highest height of humiliation. But they were able to do it. Have you asked yourself how? Was it just through gunpowder? Seriously, we need
so
to...
many things not written down.
But then again, the gun is powerful.
Yeah, the gun is powerful. But the thing, you know that people today, you know that if you shoot a rifle at them, it's not going to come up.
We've heard of that. We've heard of that.
Cynthia, we need to go.
I think with the things you just said, we're going to get another guest who is going to talk to us about Old Calabar. Because, okay, because there are so many things.
Yeah.
I think there are so many things that you would, regarding to our colonial masters, history, tradition, and culture. There's so many things that you definitely want to enjoy regarding to what he has also shared, because they share similar experiences somehow. And of course, you know, when it comes to the colonialism and the experiences of Old Calabar, it's one that you cannot take it out of history. But was it everything that was written down? Don't forget Walter Rodney, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa.
It's an illustration book to read.
Yes, we also have How Africa Underdeveloped Africa. This is some of those things that
I think that will be focused on psychophancy and the saboteurs of African effort, because what has happened there is that what Aruni was trying to put it from the perspective of Africa. How whatever they did, they came. You know, they always tell you that we are not educated. For God's sake, we are communicating, and communication is one of the highest form of intelligence, because if you can't communicate, you know, but kingdoms and provinces were related with each other, signing pacts and entering pacts, even though you call that means informal, but they had a way of understanding that our grandparents had an agreement with you that this is how we are going to be doing this thing. So you said that is informal, and you said, okay, yours is formal.
All right. Thank you so
thank
much
you
for coming on the show. It has really been an interesting morning. Talking about the habitat of the FCT. Thank you so much. No, high five.
Okay.
It is high five.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We do hope that next time when we call you to tell us more things, you'll be available to come through.
I really hope so.
Okay. And that's the much we can take on the show today, this beautiful, exciting Wednesday morning. I'm sure that you've enjoyed yourself from 7 o'clock till this time. Do not forget that you can follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where these episodes will be uploaded, and of course previous episodes will also be uploaded. Our website is
www.caribbeanradiotv.com. At Official Rapid TV is the name across all our social media platforms. Gochukwu Madumere is my name.
Cynthia Agbo.